we found out about it when he was 5. And actually, he started having seizures, febrile seizures, when he was a baby. And we were kind of at the point where at 5 years old, you're supposed to outgrow them between 5 and 6. So we thought we were kind of, at the end of our journey. And he had, I would say, a handful of seizures throughout, febrile seizures from age 1 to age 5. But at preschool one day, he was totally fine, didn't have a fever or anything, and it was nap time. And he was napping, and the teacher noticed that he was having a seizure. And so that was the first time when he was age 5 that we realized and found out that he also had ESES. And so he has outgrown his febrile seizures, but he has ESES. And he is almost 10 now, so it's been about 5 years. When he was having febrile seizures, after he had his third one, we were on Keppra. And so we were on Keppra from basically age 1 to age 5 until he had his first ESES seizure. And Keppra is really not a great drug for ESES. It's good for other types of epilepsy, but not really known for that. And so we basically started this journey that we've been on since of trying a whole host of different medicines. We've probably been on 5 or 6. And he's currently on 4 different medications right now. And Chase's body seems to, his pattern is that medicine will work, and then and we'll know it works because he'll have like a clean EEG is what his neurologist calls it, where it looks like a normal brain activity. But then for a period, it'll work for only a period of time, and it'll sort of fall out of, or his body will get used to it, and it'll stop working. So then we'll go on a different drug. And then for a period of time, it seems to work. So my husband and I kind of call it like we're on this roller coaster where we're trying different things, combinations of different medicines, and just hoping that a combination works. And then when it does work, we kind of feel like, okay, well, what's this period of time frame that it is going to work, because he has this pattern of growing out of it for whatever reason. And we have not been offered surgeries. He is not a candidate for like PNS or anything, as I understand it. And so we've really just been trying different drugs, and then obviously the diet. He was just really down in spirits on Tuesday, because it's tough when you're in the doctor's office and they're talking about you, right? And they're talking adult about different medication types. And so he struggles with that, because he knows we're there for him and we're talking about different options. And so he was a little bit down on Tuesday. I would say the hardest part about Chase's type of epilepsy, and the good part is that he doesn't have a lot of clinical seizures. The bad part is that we don't know if things are working until we get an EEG, which is like once every 5 months. And so you might have, in Chase's case, since stuff works and then doesn't work, it could have worked for a period of time. We have no idea. And so that's the good and bad of it. It's been tough. My husband has anxiety, and that has been it's been tough for him and me, watching that anxiety kind of come out. And yeah, having to kind of make sure that everybody's okay. We're a family of 3. And so, Monday was tough to find out that it still wasn't working again. And, we were just kind of down on Tuesday and Wednesday, and we got to pick ourselves back up, and it's tough. Anxiety is something that we struggle with. It's tough being a caregiver, and you just love them so much. Put the pain away, like if I could have it, I would. But you can't, and everybody has different struggles, is what we talk about. So we need to figure out ways in which we can cope with it and talk about it together, and so that we're all leaning on each other. So some of the things that we talk about. You know, COVID has been tough. Both of our parents live 3 hours away. And so it's not like we have a support system, you know, readily available here. And, you know, I guess I'd be looking for tips on if there are other supports out there, but yeah. Everybody's been trained on the rescue medicine. And, you know, whenever we would leave the house with the grandparents in charge, we always remind them, you know, like how to use it since they're not around very often. But it's hard to like leave my son with someone else, you know, just because that's always in the back of your mind. But on the other hand, you have to let go as well because, you know, they need to develop on their own and grow individually as a person. So it's a balance. There were two things that I could never find replacements for. The one is pizza. I think I made, 10 different types of pizza. One was even with just bacon crust, which I thought was amazing, but nothing quite kind of hit the mark of Domino's pizza. So that one was a struggle, and spaghetti was a staple. And to be honest, I didn't even try to replicate spaghetti noodles because I'd read all these things. I don't know, all these different types of noodles, but maybe they have a bad smell or something. I just didn't even go there. We did do things like skillet lasagna without any noodles, you know, trying to replicate things. But those two things for sure. You know, we used to have conversations. What's your first thing you're going to have, you know, when you're off the diet? And those two things were definitely on the top. He did have a birthday, obviously, you know, within his 9th birthday was within it. And he was kind of like, so we can't have cake. What can we have? And so I found some low carb ice cream, and you know, we had a good day. But yeah, the birthday I think was the biggest one, where the lack of cake. We got rules to titrate off, and it was certain number of days you could start introducing some more carbs, like little by little. And I remember the first time he had spaghetti, going back to spaghetti, you know, he couldn't cut himself off. And, you know, it was hard to know where the line was, right? And then he had some nausea that night. It's like, whoa. And then, so that was probably the only thing where we've had a couple of moments like that. So if he has bread at lunch, we try not to have bread at dinner. And, you know, kind of do one meal where it's okay to kind of eat normal, and then, but not 2 meals a day. That seems to be too much. I appreciate you putting this video together. I wish I would have had a series about other people and how they struggled, but I really just want to underscore that it has so many good benefits, and to just, it doesn't hurt to try, and not to be discouraged. Give yourself some grace.